Hello everybody, welcome to this playthrough for Master Division with the tournament win for Golf Clash the game in the Euro Champions tournament. The video is sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic. And before we start, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Also visit golfclashtommy.com for more Golf Clash related content for free. You can get the best guides on the market and our summer special on patreon.com/golfclashtommy. Link directly in the description down below. Can we get this video to 100 thumbs up? That would be amazing, and I would be very thankful. Also follow the info box on the right hand side where I have added, for min, mid, max, depending on what we're playing, combined with elevation adjustment, what type of ball and club type you should use to maximize the possibility to get drops in this tournament, because that is what we need to do. We need to get a lot of drops, and you're gonna see plenty of drops here in this playthrough. But in the end, if we're gonna win the tournament, I do believe we're gonna have to play at least a -34 in the weekend round, and that's always going to be difficult when you have to drop almost every single hole. What do you think? Let me know in the comments, and let's go to hole number 1. For hole number 1, we're going to play with two references here. First, blue ring by the rough line and white ring by the other rough line. So white ring to the right by the rough, top left of the blue ring by the rough as well. 2.2 backspin, 1 bar of left spin is what I'm gonna do. Here you can see I'm a bit all over the place. So 2.2 backspin, 1 bar of left spin, and then we're going to adjust maximum distance with a 20% over adjustment. So max plus 20, power 1 ball setting, and then we are going to be very close, if not getting it in the hole. You can also see that I'm going with a slight 1159, which is not bad in my opinion, but as we will be playing with 2.2 backspin, and then I do believe that using an 1159 in high wind will pull us too far down that little slope, which means that we're gonna have a bounce that is further up, which is going to mean that we're gonna have a problem with speed towards the pin. 2.2 backspin, 1 bar of left spin, max plus 20, power 1 ball settings. For hole number 2, we are looking to just transport ourselves down the fairway using 7.5 bar top spin and 1 bar of left spin. I would honestly say though that using a 7.8 top spin would honestly be better, because the closer to the rough line we're gonna get, the easier the second shot is going to be, and then we're not gonna have to adjust that close to the rough. You maybe don't know what I'm talking about when I say close to the rough. You're gonna see what I'm talking about. Max plus 10 is what we are adjusting. Power 3 ball settings, ball guideline, just straight down the middle, then try to hit perfect. And here it is very important that we are getting the roll. If we don't get the roll out, which could happen if we do adjust badly, then we will find ourselves with a very short distance. Here, once again, we do want to reach as close to the rough line possible, and preferably above 390 yards if we can choose. 388, I can survive with that for sure, and then that will leave us up to a sniper shot towards the pin. Now, here you can see the difficulty with if we don't have the distance. So now I need to push up. I'm looking for the third bounce to be just in the middle of the fringe with the ball guideline pointing to the hole. If I find that spot, then I know I'm at the correct spot. 2 rings into overpower here, which is going to be the following. I adjust maximum distance minus 20%, power 3 ball settings, and once I'm done, I'm gonna push up those 2 rings that I needed into overpower there, just to compensate for the fact that we do need a bit more distance. When you do have to do this, I would recommend though to add a decimal or 2, just because we are actually pushing ourselves up to a distance, which means that the ball is gonna fly longer than what we are calculating with. See that the ball comes in nicely when it comes to speed, and we miss to the right, and we needed that extra decimal in that way. But again, the drive is everything. If we can get the drive to a good distance so we don't have to push up or something like that, then this is going to be an absolute money maker, making an albatross on hole number 2. For hole number 3, we're gonna start with the drive by playing with the Aurora ball, which gives a side spin 2, win 5, power 2. And here you can play the same way as the season with the season 19, the Eagle ball. We do have plenty of balls that do have win 5, power 2 and side spin 2. 7 bars of top spin, 2 bars of side spin to the left, red ring by the rough line. And then we are going to adjust for a maximum distance with a 20% over adjustment, power 2 ball settings. And with Apocalypse level 8, that's going to be 1, 2, 1. In the end though, if you do play with Apocalypse level 5 that only have 6 bars of top spin, I would recommend to push up 1 ring after your final adjustment. That is only to compensate for the lesser top spin that is had, so we can get up to approximately the same distance. Now we get to 379 yards, and 379 yards is going to give us a rough bump with the B52. And here we are using slider, medium distance plus 5, so medium distance is due to that we're using slider. When it comes to the elevation, it's always going to be 5%, and to give ourselves the reference number from 339, we should be playing that one 30% slider with the B52. So 30% slider, B52 from 379. Red ring by the rough line, 1 bar of top spin, and then we adjust and then we take our shot. You can see that I have a pretty hefty 1159. That is not planned. I do want to have a straight pull, otherwise I will see myself missing left side of the pin many times than not. So 30% slider, 379, ball guideline to hold with 1 bar of top spin. For hole number 4, we're going to play with our quarterback in absolute minimum distance. Half a bar of top spin and 1 bar of left spin. Look, we are in complete minimum distance. Red ring by the rough line, and we are not really going to focus on the ball guideline because our position does already have 2 references. So half a bar of top spin, 1 bar of left spin. Now, for the adjustment, I would like you to play with a maximum distance, no elevation, power 1 ball setting. So even though we play with a power 2 ball, I would like for you to play with power 1 ball settings, trying to get this hole in 1. Here I do play slightly different, which means that I do play with 1 extra decimal than what is needed, as you can obviously see here. So we need that little less adjustment there, and that's why I play max, no elevation, power 1 ball setting for hole number 4. For hole number 5, I'm going to play a very weird play. So I'm gonna go for a power slice. First, I do adjust 5 rings to measure my plus yardage, and plus 11 is a good yardage. Then I know I can just play this one without having to pull back anything. Max top spin, no side spin whatsoever, and as you can see, I stretch out my target into max by using the yellow ring as a reference mark on the rough on the other side. We're gonna take a look at that again. Now I'm gonna pull my rings to the south. Okay, so for a 16 miles per hour, we are going to, in that case, pull 6 rings, and then we're gonna add 0.1 for every other difference between 16 and the wind itself. So with a 14.9 in adjustment, we're going to pull 7.1 rings to the south. So the wind angle is going to point south, and we're going to pull our rings to the south. Seems weird, but that's what we're going to do. We're going to take that again so you can see all the things. So step 1, we measure how much into plus yardage we are after 5 rings, exactly when it's our turn. Then we stretch out to find the right side of the yellow ring by the rough line. Then we release. Then we add the spin as step number 3, max top spin, and then we are going to adjust for the power slice here. And I do have that method, as again I base that on 16 miles per hour, which is 6 rings, but then in the end I add 0.1 for every extra, or for all the lower type of wind, which in this case is 7.1 rings that I'm doing. Then max overpower, max curl right, and then full power slice. And then we're going to see this ball in somewhat be around the green area. Obviously, a power slice is never 100% consistent, so please have that in mind. The plan is to either get the ball to green or to be just close to the green to play for a wedge. In the end though, if you do find yourself with a plus yardage after adjusting 5 rings that is down to +9, +8, then I would strongly recommend you to pull back 1 ring before you take your shot. The reason for that is that it tells us we have more tailwind, and to compensate for that we do need to pull back, otherwise we will most likely go directly into the water. Second shot is just for the displays part. There is a massive funnel on this screen. So here I'm trying to get into the funnel, which I do by using a little right spin and then as much top spin possible. So use the rapier or the end bring, whatever has the most top spin. And then you can see this wedge is going to be harder to miss than to get in the hole. So for 15, I do adjust, I think I adjusted like 7 rings or something like that, 6-7 rings, which is a lot. And you can see that my ball guideline is still inside the hole. So even if I massively over adjusted this wedge, I still get this one right at pin. So in the end though, massive funnel. So if we can get to the left side of the green, that's super duper good. And in the end, this is going to be an absolute must eagle in my opinion in Master. So for hole number 6, we are going to play an aggressive drive using, in this case, a 5.5 bar topspin, 3 bars of side spin to the left. Half of the right ring out there on the fairway is our starting point, and then we're going to adjust maximum distance +10. So after adjusting max +10, we're going to push up our club into absolute very max. And then it's time to go with overpower. Max overpower, we're gonna go with 1 ball of curl outside the adjustment ring to the right. And then it's time to obviously try to hit perfect. Great left, great right is still going to be fine on this approach. Bouncing nicely on the fairway, we get into the rough, and then we roll out exactly as we are planning. From 473, we are going to play with 40% slider, no elevation. Have in mind that depending on a double great left or double great right, you might have a different distance towards the pin. But as it is pretty linear the way that we're playing this hole, the yardage notes will be, you know, still be kind of okay to use, at least as a start. 1.8 top spin, 3 bars of left spin, ball guideline just slightly through the hole. And as already explained, 40% slider, with no elevation, power 4 ball settings, which is 13 rings as we are adjusting here. So 13 rings for an adjustment, and the reason I'm looking for the rough bump is to take away the secondary bounce wind effect, especially when we do have such a high wind here to play for the second shot. Bounce into the rough, and it rolls very nicely right at the pin for a nice albatross on hole number 6. For hole number 7, we're going for green, and here we're going to apply max side spin to the right, which is 2 bars, and with a 13.7 wind, I'm going with 1 bar of top spin. Then obviously we're going to have to adjust the spin depending on what type of wind we're going to have. If we have a higher wind, I would recommend you to obviously reduce and almost play with a little bit of backspin. And then if you do have a lower wind, we could actually look into increasing just a minor bit with the top spin. Maximum distance +10 is what I'm going for. And then I push up my club into absolute very max. And then it's time to go with max OP, max curl to the right, and obviously try to hit perfect. We are going for green here based on the wind, and that's why we're using the pad on the left to try to come in left, clip the rough, and roll out onto the green. I'm not ruling out that we will see maybe a guy or two making an hole-in-one here. Hopefully that will be me. But in the end though, it is not a super duper easy one to get to green, so a lot of elements needs to be there. Have in mind as well, when it comes to the starting position that I'm using, that look for the yellow ring to be just inside the part of the sand that becomes wet of the water. So look here now, once I find in my position here. So I go into the water there and looking for the yellow ring to be inside the part that is, you know, being wet by the water. That's my position. I just want to show you that clearly so we don't miss that. That's the starting position. Then we go max plus 10 and then push up to max, max OP, max skull right, get in the hole. Berserker Ball is possible to play as well. The risk with that is obviously that we do get a very high wind. So that's why I do have the Rose Ball, which is a wind 2 power 5 side spin 2 ball as a backup if the wind is too high. We're looking for a wind around . For hole number 8, the final of the part 3, we are playing with a power 1 side spin 2 plus ball with wind 5. So you don't have to play with the feather ball, you can play with whatever wind 5 side spin 2 power 1 ball you have. We add spin, which is 2 back spin, 2 left spin all the time. Then we're looking for the yellow ring, the bottom part of the yellow ring just there by the bunker with the ball guideline going to the hole. Have in mind that you want the top part of the yellow ring also just to be just above the rough, not much difference there, or like in terms of being inside the rough or outside the rough, but a little bit outside there. Now, adjustment is going to be maximum distance minus 5%, but we play power 3 ball settings. Once again, we do change the settings to suit the adjustment. So maximum distance minus 5%, power 3 ball setting. And now you can see that we get it in right side couple. I will take it. This is not going to be a 100% hole in one through the tournament, but if we can . For hole number 9, we're going to use a Centurion. You can also play with a Kingmaker here if you want to, but I would strongly advise you to play with a Wind 4 ball at least. I'm using as much topspin possible, 2 bars of left spin. Now, I'm having the full white ring to the left, inside the rough there to the left. If you play with an Apocalypse level 5, level 6, you go half of the white ring inside the rough. If you do have Apocalypse level 7, you do mirror the position with Apocalypse level 8. Now, we are going to adjust max plus 10, and in the end we're going to apply overpower. So if you do play with Apocalypse 7 or 8, you go with 2 rings of overpower. If you play with Apocalypse level 6, you go with 3 rings. And if you play with Apocalypse level 5, I would recommend to go very close to maximum distance, max overpower. We want to get the ball over and we want to get this roll out, because the longer we roll and the further we are to the right, the better it's going to be for the second shot. Now, second shot, I play no elevation whatsoever. In this example, I do play medium distance, but we're going to get to that in just a bit. 1.5 top spin, 3 bars of side spin to the right, looking for the ball to creep in on the left side of the green to fall down towards the pin. Leaving the ball guideline approximately 1 green square above the pin is at least the plan. And now it's all about the adjustment, because the further to the right we get into green, the more we're gonna miss high. And so we do need to come in very much at the very left edge of the green to be okay. No elevation as already explained, and I play medium distance from this range here, and we get it into the green, but we come in approximately 1 cup there above the pin. So we kind of have a decision to make. Either we aim for the pin and keep the same adjustment as we're having, or that we aim above the cup and we need to tweak the adjustment a little bit. That's up to you. This is going to be a difficult one to drop, but definitely a possibility. Thank you so much everybody for watching this playthrough for Master Division here for the Euro Champions Tournament. The video is sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic, and make sure that you do comment in the comment section below or email support@golfclashtommy.com if you do have any questions. You can also join our Discord, where we do share videos, screenshots, and also being able to ask me, yours truly, and also other fellow members in the community directly about anything in the Golf Clash world. Get Ultimate Tournament guides on patreon.com/golfclashtommy and get our summer special. Much love to you all, and good luck in the Euro Champions Tournament.